I never thought my life would unravel because of someone I trusted like family. My name is Brian Carter, 38 years old, born and raised in Spokane, Washington. Loyalty has always been my cornerstone. Maybe that's why the betrayal cut so deep, because it came from Emily, my wife, and my own mother, Diane. It all started 13 years ago when Emily sent me a divorce email while I was deployed overseas. The subject line read, "Let's be adults about this." The message was just 3 sentences. She'd filed the papers, emptied our joint bank account, and moved her new boyfriend into our home. I read it twice, closed my laptop, and silently accepted the blow. Military men know when to bury their pain. I didn't react outwardly, but inside, everything shattered. During my deployment in Kandahar, I noticed subtle changes in Emily. New friends, new routines, and a cold distance that hadn't been there before. I never confronted her. That wasn't me. Instead, I quietly took precautions, securing important documents, opening a secret bank account, and moving valuables to a storage unit. When I got the email, I already had a plan. I wasn't going to fight, but I was going to finish this, on my terms. While I was still in Kandahar, the pain of Emily's betrayal burned quietly beneath the surface. I didn't say a word to anyone. My bunkmate Wilson noticed something was off, but just asked if I was all right. I told him it was just some stuff back home. Military men know how to carry their burdens silently. Months before deployment, subtle signs had emerged. Emily stopped asking about my day, started working late at a dental office where she answered phones, and went to the gym frequently but without much enthusiasm. She bought new clothes, made new friends I never met, and changed her phone passwords. Instead of confrontation, I took quiet measures. I secured vital documents, birth certificate, marriage license, house deed, only my name was on it thanks to the VA loan, and military paperwork, in a storage unit across town. I opened a separate bank account, diverting part of my pay to it. Not enough to alert Emily, but enough to keep me afloat if things went south. The night before my deployment, Emily hugged me at the airport and said, "Stay safe." Her eyes were dry, like she was saying goodbye to a co-worker, not a husband heading to war. That was the moment I should have known, but a part of me still hoped I was wrong. My deployment stretched over 4 months in Kandahar. Every day, I returned to my bunk carrying the weight of a war zone, and the heavier weight of betrayal waiting for me back home. One evening, after patrol, I checked the bank app on my phone. My heart sank. Emily had emptied our joint account, transferring nearly $88,500 out. Only $22.37 remained. Our savings, built over years, vanished. I sat frozen in the mess hall, surrounded by men laughing and calling their families, normal lives continuing around me while mine burned to ashes. My bunkmate Wilson saw my face and asked if I was okay. I gave a single-word reply: "Understood." Back in Spokane, Emily had moved her boyfriend into our house and was living a life I no longer recognized, yet I remained calm. Anger didn't fuel me, focus did. I started calling old friends, a lawyer buddy James, the master sergeant, making plans quietly. This wasn't about shouting or confrontation. It was a mission, and I was ready to finish it. Back in Spokane, I worked with James, my Army buddy turned lawyer, to uncover the full extent of Emily's betrayal. We discovered she had forged my signature on a refinance loan application, attempting to pull $330,000 against our house's equity without my consent. Her boyfriend Jeremy, with a criminal record including DUIs and fraud charges, was listed as a co-applicant. It wasn't just a personal betrayal, it was a calculated scheme. We gathered evidence, including security footage showing Jeremy using my truck and my house being prepared for sale. The FBI's Financial Crime Division soon became involved. This was bigger than a failed marriage. It was organized fraud targeting military families. Emily maintained she knew nothing of the larger conspiracy, claiming Jeremy convinced her to go along with the plan. The truth was tangled, but I was determined to reclaim what was mine. The FBI quickly took action. Agents raided our house and arrested Jeremy and a real estate agent named Daniel Spencer, who had been involved in several similar schemes targeting military families. Provided formal statements and all the evidence we had gathered. The case revealed a multi-state conspiracy involving forged signatures, wire fraud, and attempts to sell properties under false pretenses. Emily's role remained unclear whether she was a willing participant or an unwitting pawn, but I was focused on securing justice and protecting my military pension and what was legally mine. Months later, Jeremy was sentenced to 8 years in prison, and Daniel received 12. Thanks to the case, other military families also stood a chance at recovering their losses. With Jeremy and Daniel behind bars, a sense of relief washed over me, but it was bittersweet. The years of trust broken, the house sold, and the betrayal left scars that wouldn't heal overnight. Emily and I finalized the divorce quietly 6 months after that fateful email. No drama, no accusations, just a clean break. I chose not to press charges against her in exchange for full restitution of the stolen funds and a signed confession of forgery. I moved away from Spokane, buying a small cabin near Missoula, Montana. Surrounded by nature, I found peace rebuilding my life, working with my hands doing carpentry, and caring for my dog Scout. Sometimes I thought about Emily, where she ended up, what became of her, but I had made my peace. I wasn't angry anymore. I just wanted to move forward. A year after moving to Montana, I received a letter from a woman in Fort Worth. Her husband, a Navy serviceman, had also been targeted by the same fraudulent scheme Jeremy and Daniel ran. She thanked me for helping expose the operation, saying my courage gave other military families hope and a chance to fight back. Her words struck a chord. It reminded me that sometimes, even in the darkest times, we can make a difference. It wasn't just about my story anymore. It was about justice for many. I kept in touch with a few of these families, offering support where I could. One afternoon, while working on a carpentry project, I received a text from Emily. She said she never meant for things to end the way they did and wanted to talk. I stared at the message for a long time. Part of me wanted to respond, but the years of hurt held me back. I didn't reply. Sometimes, silence speaks louder than words. I had made my choice to move forward, and some doors needed to stay closed. Life in Montana settled into a steady rhythm. The small cabin, the creek behind it, and Scout's companionship grounded me in ways I hadn't known I needed. I kept busy with carpentry, community work, and quietly rebuilding trust in myself. The past still lingered, but it no longer controlled me. Sometimes I thought about the families still fighting similar battles and felt a quiet strength knowing I had helped shine a light on something bigger. One quiet evening, as the sun dipped behind the Montana mountains, I sat on my porch reflecting on everything that had happened. Betrayal, loss, justice, and finally, healing. Though my life had been upended, I was building something new, something truly mine, a life defined not by the pain of the past, but by the hope for the future. I raised my glass to the sunset, to Scout beside me, and to the path ahead unknown but full of promise. Sometimes, the hardest battles lead us to our greatest victories.